What's up, y'all? It's your favorite sports chica, Carolina Teague, and this is episode 27 of League of Our Own. Welcome back. It is another Manic Monday. Usually we're here on Wednesdays, but today we have a special guest. It is May 17th, and I'm here with Gylan Jackson at VodPod Media Studios with my radio husband, producer, and he's just making sure everything is running smoother than olive oil on a baby's behind. We have two very, very special guests today from the graveyards of Tijuana. She's here, AEW former women's champion and co-owner of Mission Pro Wrestling, Melissa Cervantes, aka Thunder Rosa, and my guy from the Salvation Army in San Antonio, Texas, the man, the myth, the legend, Brad Mayhar. This behind the scenes, we were talking about Special Leaf Tea. This podcast is brought to you by Special Leaf Tea. They are a 100% all natural, no sugar added iced tea with 2-time antioxidants compared to green tea, and they have so many great flavors. But right now, today, we are trying the pomegranate blueberry. I need your guys' thoughts on the drink.
I'm trying to figure it out. It tastes is strong. Like if you want an alternative to caffeine, I will say this is the one. Like definitely, it's strong. I love tea. I drink green tea a lot.
Really?
Yeah, straight, no, nothing.
Well, before I met the owner, I told him that I don't like tea. That I like only certain teas because I feel like when drinks are too sweet, like a soda, I don't really like it. So I like things with zero sugar. Well, luckily this has zero sugar, so when I tried it, I instantly knew it was a zero sugar drink. So it immediately I liked it. So it's a very good drink, and it is available at all HEB Central markets across the state of Texas. So you can get them there at the bougie HEB, and it is only $5 shipping nationwide and free shipping in San Antonio, Texas. So thank you, Special Leaf, for powering this podcast. But let's go ahead and get started. Let's just get down to business, man. The reason why we're here is because we're gonna get a lot into with you today, because one of the things that stands out with me about you the most is that you're a Latina and you're a badass in the wrestling world. Okay, I've seen your stuff. You have a song.
Yep.
You are a jack of all trades, it seems like.
Just like you.
Yeah.
Just like you.
Yeah. And, I think it's because we're Latinas. Yes. And I'm not saying we relate on that level, but we were both, I was saying I grew up poor.
Yes.
And you said you grew up poor.
Yeah.
Is that a true story?
No, it is 1,000% true. I went back to my neighborhood on Saturday. I took my producer, Tony Allen, to my neighborhood. And he was like, I was like, this is where I came from. And he's like, you should be very proud of where you came from, because you're never coming back to something like this, you know? And I mean, it is a mixed socioeconomic area. But it's you can see what the damage that time has done. And like, that in Mexico, a lot of people that don't invest in infrastructure. So things are kind of like falling apart a little bit. And it's always very interesting when I go back and I see where I came from, where I went to school, like all the struggles that I went to. I went through my old high school too, and I haven't been there in 20 years. So I just like, it reminds me of how hard I worked to get to like every single step, right? Like in Mexico, you can't go to a regular high school unless you take a test. And for this high school, I think it's like one of the very few federal high schools that exist in Mexico. You have to take a test, and only the people that are, I think it's like 2 percentile of the people get in, and everybody else gets in the other ones. So it was really tough. And just now, 20 years later, realizing that I was like, oh, I was actually, the girl from the crop. So it was kind of cool. And most of my friends who were in the same circle that I was, they became very successful. And it's so funny because all of us were always like so broke all the time. One is a neurologist. Another one became a producer, very successful producer. He's the one who produced my video. Oh, yes. Then another one, I think he owns his own business. Like a couple of the people that I said, everybody that came out with that little group from my friends, we all, because we were so driven and we were so hungry, we were able to use that and became successful of our own.
That's really incredible. And I listened to you say that in Mexico, because you're from Tijuana, right? So in Tijuana, you said it makes you sad when you go back. Me too, because I would spend my summers over there because my grandparents live in the valley. We'd go to Mexico all the time. And when I was growing up, it was kind of thriving and there was a lot of street vendors all the time. And it was fun. Like we got to go to restaurants and there was always the little kids tapping our pockets for the chicles, seeing if we had money and stuff. And we always would have but it was fun. We had money. But it was fun. It was like, but everything was thriving. And then to go back recently to visit some family, we went back and everything was just kind of, you could tell there was a big change. And it does make you sad, but it also makes you, for me, it makes me happy just knowing that people there are still happy regardless. I think that's what I took from it, leaving. Everybody's still happy there. Do you feel like the way you grew up, even though you said you were poor, do you still feel like you were still very, very happy at that time regardless?
I wasn't because I don't know, maybe I was always so aware or self-aware of what I was lacking, because especially when my cousins came from the United States, they always had the cool clothes, they give me hand-me-downs and stuff. But I knew that my father and my mother worked really hard to like provide to the little or like whatever we had. But I was happy. I mean, it's a simple life, right? And then when you start getting more money, more problems, right? And then when you are not financially educated, and it's like realizing so many things and realizing that how now we, like you and I and you too, brother, it's just like creating this wealth, generational wealth, right? Working in ourselves in our present, working on ourselves in the future. How are we going to invest for us, for our families, so the money stays in the families instead of like everybody fighting for like a little piece of whatever we have and like just strip it from everybody. And that's like the sad part. I feel like it has happened to a lot of families when they're like wealthy and somebody gets just stingy or just like they just want everything for themselves and then just leave the whole entire family struggling. So I think for me now, with my son, that's when I'm working really hard on. I have a great present, but a wonderful future, and where I don't have to be worried about having 50,000 jobs to pay for the rent for, just for like basic things. And I think that's the thing that a lot of people struggle the most in Mexico is making ends meet, because a lot of the prices, especially guys that we went to the border, like everything is becoming just as expensive as it is on the other side. And we know that they don't get paid that well. So that's, for me, it's hard to see.
And so now you're saying that, everybody around you had drive and everybody was successful that you went to high school with. You passed that test, which is a great accomplishment. Where did it click for you? Hey, I want to do wrestling. Like, when did that come in?
Not until after I graduated, I went to UC Berkeley. I worked as a community liaison. Sorry, my Espanol got in the way. Liaison. So I used to work as a community liaison in the Bay Area, and wrestling was my escape from reality. And then it became my reality. I started training in 2014. I think 2013. No, sorry. Yeah, it's 2014. I started watching a lot of the shows in 2012, 2013. So when I just decided that I was gonna be a full-time wrestler was probably 2015. But I've never really thought that I will do that. As a matter of fact, actually, this is so funny because before we got into that, this wasn't my destiny. Like, I talked to one of the people from Tijuana. He covers lucha libre all the time, and I was telling him, like, my grandfather died watching professional wrestling. He had a heart attack, and he told me, I have the article and the picture of your grandfather.
So we made the news that he...
Yes, I actually have it here. I can't show it because it's pretty... Did I show it to you? Oh, it's creepy. I'm gonna show it to you. You can tell me.
Yeah.
I was like, this is definitely a
sign.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's crazy. Like, you can see his dead body, and then you can see the ring at the end. It's pretty gnarly. Hold on.
Now, why did that make the news?
It's the first time that this ever happened.
Oh, it was at a wrestling event.
Yeah. Girl.
Oh, I thought he was watching it on TV.
No, girl, look. That's him.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we need to share that. Well, if you'd like to, but I'll
share the article, but it's in Spanish. It's like, Señor murió de susto en la función de lucha libre guy died of what's it susto like?
I don't know.
He got scared and died of a heart attack.
Yeah.
So it's seeing this and reading the article, I was just like, whoa, this is like, you can see it. And now now we go into like, why do you put your face paint? At first it was somebody told me to put it on, but then in reality it was, I'm celebrating this death, and like you can see his body is right there, and you can see the ring in front of it. I'm celebrating this passing, this break of everything that happened afterwards in a more positive way, and that just a reminder to everyone that has struggle in my family that everything can happen, if we take a positive outlet on it.
That is so incredible that ended up being your actual profession. And he obviously loved to watch wrestling.
Yes.
And that ended up being your destiny. So that's kind of, do you believe in like spiritual stuff? Like
I do now a lot more than before. I definitely in the last year I've seen that there's like very, very bad spirits that are around this world, and there's very, very good spirits, and people are influenced by that energy. So we try to put all the best energy as possible into the good, and that's one of the reasons why we created Mission Pro Wrestling, right? Because there's so much bad stuff going on. So yeah.
And I think that energy with him transferred into what you're doing now. And then you have Mission Pro Wrestling, and the True Colors event is going to be Saturday, June 10th, 2023. And this card is actually, I do ring announcing on the side, and a lot of these wrestlers I really love, and I know them personally, and they're great. They're great and very talented at what they do. Harlow is teaching me hip tosses. He's going to be at the event. And recently, Brandon Weiss from the Flocking Brawlers and Casey Black Rose, they were bullying me. And Harlow had my back. He basically was like, you know what? I'm going to teach her how to kick your asses. I mean, and then we have La Leona, Alejandra Lyon. She's going to be on the card. Jasmine Allure. So many great names. And it's for a good cause with the Salvation Army. What made you want to partner with Brad with the Salvation Army?
What it really made us?
Yeah, I think it was, I remember you reached out to me and you said, do you have any volunteer opportunities? And this was like a few years ago before you just, became, who you are now in the wrestling world. And I was like, okay. And it's like, oh, she's an independent wrestler. Cool. I give tours all the time. Come in. And we just talked. We hit it off, and she volunteered, doing a lot of food distributions, ringing the bell, different things that the Salvation Army does. And then, was this about 2 years ago, we got to thinking, after you've got all this established, with Mission Pro Wrestling, what's really cool is it's a predominantly women's wrestling organization, and Thunder, she's an advocate for women wrestlers and helping them in their careers, and we also have some of the guys in the shows too, but given this opportunity to give back to the community, because she's just got a really kind heart and really wants to give back. She's all about that. So we got to thinking, let's do some shows where part of the money can go back to the Salvation Army. And these wrestlers, these are great wrestlers that come from all over the country. Some have even come from overseas at some of our shows. And these are wrestlers that you see on AEW. Sometimes they get work in WWE. NWA, Impact Wrestling, the premier wrestling organizations in the world. I mean, you got talent. You got people like Genocide who, outside the ring, she's got a really big heart, but in the ring, she's amazing. She's our champion for Mission Pro Wrestling, but she's got national TV time, and she's really, her career's on the rise, and she's doing these shows. We've had other people come through that have done shows the last couple of years, and then just a matter of time, a few months later, you're like, wait a minute, look who's on TV. This is someone who's at our show. So you're getting a really good show, and it's going to a good cause when you come to these shows.
Well, that's what I tell people all the time, because Boom Boom was here last week, and we were explaining the benefits of indie wrestling and why it's so important, and why it's important for people in the community to come out to these shows. Not only is it benefiting the Salvation Army, and you said it goes to good causes,
Right.
and I don't know if people who are listening know, but one of the places that's close to me from the Salvation Army is the women's shelter.
Mm-hmm.
You and I have had personal conversations about that place
Sure.
and how I've benefited from their services personally, and just the advocating for women, homelessness, and all of those things around the city. I mean, there's other things that you guys help as well. Can you name some of the
there's
other
so
ones?
many programs, and that's what I enjoy about my job with Salvation Army. I mean, we get to have fun and do things like this, but the organization does so many things. There's the women's shelter. You have women who come to our shelter for a variety of reasons. Some of them might be victims of domestic abuse. Some of them are just down on their luck, or for whatever reason, people come to the shelter. And we have a single women's dorm. Upstairs, we have single moms, single dads, full intact families. On the other side of the building, we've got social service programs. We got programs for veterans, grocery assistance. We've got senior nutrition program. We've got a Boys and Girls Club. You know, you've been a part of some of our events for that too. There's something for everyone, and I think everybody that comes through, and one of the reasons so many people want to be a part of these shows and other events we do is because there's something for everybody. You know, there might be one of our programs that for whatever reason it hits a nerve. You know, you remember yourself or a family member or someone who's gone through a similar struggle to what some of the clients that we help. So it just makes you want to do good, and you see firsthand. We're very transparent. We welcome everyone to come in because we want them to see firsthand where their money and their time goes to help. People help in different ways. You know, some people can write checks, some people volunteer their time. And I say everybody has a cluttered closet. If you just want to clean it out and donate something that you don't use anymore.
Actually, mine is really cluttered.
Same. Yeah.
And the only reason why I can't clean it out is because I have a dust mite allergy. So I start sneezing like crazy. But when I get through that, I probably have to wear a mask, and then I'll just donate some clothes. But like I have a dust mite allergy. It's not like I'm a hoarder or anything like that.
So you just can't clean it.
Yeah, I know. I just don't know how to clean it. I'm just kidding. But I want to get back to this Mission Pro Wrestling because I think, first of all, you're a Latina owner of this company.
Yes.
What inspired you to start your own company and be a co-owner? Because it's one thing to be a wrestler, it's another to be a co-owner and run something.
Everything transpired from the moment I joined, the circuit, the independent circuit, and I noticed that there was not a lot of opportunities for me. Brian Cervantes and I, my husband and I, we created Sabotage Wrestling prior to this. And we focus on, mostly female matches, but we did a lot of intergender. Then we move away from that, and then him and my friend Jeremiah Wilkinson, they created Mission Pro Wrestling. It was just for fun. But once in 2019, like 2020.
Right before COVID, right?
No, that was during COVID.
During COVID, okay.
During COVID, the hashtag #MeToo movement came out. And a lot of the girls talked of the transgression that they suffer during, their time as professional wrestlers, either during training, while training, after training, and also during the shows that some people were taking advantages, and also the lack of opportunities for just women in general. We decided that we were going to switch gears and we were going to make it all female. And we focused really, really hard on hiring and putting women on top on every position. And it went really well. We, at the beginning of the show, we had great response given the fact that we were during COVID. We were happily, Texas was open with restrictions, and we became very, very successful. And on that, I also wanted to make sure that we focus on representation. And by that, I meant having women of all sizes, colors, flavors, genders, everything, because it is important that we show that. I think in mainstream is getting more accepted now, but I think it's been a process, and we're really proud to, like, every time we show our card, our card is like 80% of color, and I cannot tell you how important it is to do that, because you as a Latina, you can probably feel when, especially if you are in corporate America, that is very and far few of us.
Facts. And I actually have been to one of these events before, and I think I ran into you at one of them. I can't remember. It was like several months ago. I went to Mission Pro Wrestling to shadow one of your ring announcers that were there, and what stood out to me about Mission Pro was that it was predominantly women, and I thought that was very amazing because I could tell that you guys purposefully make it that way. I can instantly tell just by being a woman, like it's purposeful, and that's a good purpose because, like you said, I've talked to women, who have been in combat sports, and they say that it's been hard for them to get representation. So to create something that gives women a space to be great and give them opportunities, I think that's incredible. And so that's why I always encourage people to go to independent wrestling shows and just pack it out. No matter whether any promotion in the city that's wrestling, pack it out, because these people, like you said, Brad, they can make, like, 1 minute they're in the rings here in San Antonio, and the next they're on AEW or the WWE or, Impact Wrestling, Ring of Honor, and they're right there, and you could get their autograph and take pictures with them. I don't know why people don't come out. So I'm like, get there now. And plus, you can see me, and I'm loud, and I'm proud to be there all the time. I'm always at these spots. I'm always there. You're going to run into me, too, sometimes. So I think it's really cool because, like I said, not only that, you get the benefits of helping somebody else out, and the tickets aren't even expensive. Like, how much do the tickets go for here?
It's I think 25 for regular entrance, and then VIP it's, of course, maybe 45. I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
But again, it's like
that's affordable.
Yes, it's very affordable. We also give like special, either a poster or special merchandise that is designed just for each show. Everybody takes a picture with the ones that are VIP, so you get to take a picture with absolutely everybody. If you go to a meet and greet, you probably pay like extra per picture, right? And I think the most important part is like one of the reasons why we tag with the Salvation Army, because we'd rather have that donation instead of paying a rent, right? Because one, we know that this is going to a better place, and especially for talking about south side of San Antonio. Like the services are really, really limited, and in this area we have some of the lowest income families in the country, actually.
So that's, and also, like you said, like it benefits a good cause. Plus, like, I see people on this flyer that I personally, they're my favorites. And, well, I mean, everybody here is great. But
she seems to like JP Harley.
I like JP because he taught me how to hip toss. And I'm going to throw somebody one day. That's my goal. And then I have Maddie. We have Maddie on there. She's one of my favorites, too. And then Alejandra. I love everybody, but, I'm going to favorite.
Casey Blackrose on there.
Oh, Casey. I know why. Casey's not there. Well, we made up. I made up with Brandon Weiss and Casey. We actually made up. So I'm not going to throw him anymore. I think, honestly, he's scared of me now because Harlow's on my side. Just saying. And so I think he freaked out.
We are super excited on this show because last show there was shenanigans, and there's a 4-way tag match. That's one of the ones that I'm looking forward to. Lady Bird, Gigi Ray, Bougie Reality versus Joey Hayden, Boss Baines versus Charity Kane and Danny V. This all these women.
Oh, Danny's gonna be there. I've announced her. See, I feel like this is great.
It's a really this one is like hopefully we can close a chapter on this match because they've been going at it and like. The men on Mission Pro Wrestling causing chaos, and then another one that they've been going at it lately is Genocide, which is a championship match versus Jasmine Allure. Jasmine Allure is probably a little shorter than you are, and like she's like a pit bull, like she doesn't care. So
does not matter. She's a scrapper.
I met her before she was wrestling, and then she was part of our first show, and then to see her grow and to see her how she's shining, it's beautiful. The same with Genocide. I always tell the story. Sometimes like you see certain things, you're like, but Genocide has grown in everybody's hearts, and also she works so hard. Worked so hard, and she's now our current champion.
Yeah, and then there's some other ones I see on there that have just in the last few months I've seen them grow. They've come to our shows for the first time in the past few months, and now they're been on great shows like Tiffany Nieves and Emmy Camacho. I mean, they're young, up and coming. They're really, great.
They're all incredible. And like even if you don't know who they are, like honestly, like when I went to Mission Pro that one time in December, a long time ago, they were beating each other with candy canes.
Yes.
And that was fun to watch. That was so much fun to watch.
The shows
I was like, I want to beat somebody with a candy cane.
The shows that you watch, come into these independent shows, come into these local shows that support your local community and these independent wrestlers, you're going to get quality entertainment like you would find on a pay-per-view. There's going to be crazy things happening outside the ring. They're going to pick up whatever they can and whack somebody with it. We've had guys hanging from basketball goals.
My God, yeah.
Like, literally. I mean,
well, I mean, we had so many people. I mean, I'm huge on using social media. Prior to this, one time Mia Khalifa came to one of our shows.
Oh,
she was part of the
wow.
storyline. We had Dave LaGreca, who is part of Busted Open. We also had Simon Miller, who's a big YouTuber. We're always looking for new people that are interested on coming to a show like this. We are a mom and pop owned, like we don't have thousands of dollars to do like, a cameo. And this is all for the growth of many women and some men to go to other places, because it is important. We always need, when you started, you needed that platform to help you, accelerate and go to the next level. You needed that. Like, everybody needs that platform. And I feel like Mission Pro Wrestling, that's one thing we want to do. Yes, we want to keep them forever, but we want to make sure that what we're doing is going to be something that at the end of the day, when they go to a big company, they know how to handle themselves. They know how to advocate for themselves. They know their worth. And when they come back, they're like, at least they'll be like, it was important.
And always had to be careful about starting to name drop, because you're like, okay, I'm going to forget some really cool people. But I've seen the shows that we've either been a part of or that I've just attended as a fan. Occasionally I've even seen some Hall of Famers just drop in just to check out the show. And even people that are headlining big events now in the past few years have been a part of Mission Pro. Somebody like Willow. Willow just had an amazing match that everybody was talking about this weekend, and she's been a part. She's, just to give you an example of the type of people that in a few months you might see them doing bigger things.
And the great thing is it goes for a good cause. Like, it's a win-win. And like, I don't see how somebody would have come.
And also, I would add that depending on the time of year, we might have other ways you can help the community when you attend a show. Because someone like Genocide, she'll lead efforts to collect Christmas presents for the kids. December shows. She'll be she'll lead by example. She'll personally make sure that toys are delivered from her home state to the Salvation Army. And a lot of the other wrestlers and fans follow suit. School supplies, just depends on the time of year. We might be collecting items to help kids and families in that community.
And Guylan and I were having a conversation, and we were saying, I know you say you want to keep them forever, but at the same time, that growth is really important, because, like, for example, Cody Rhodes, where all the indies, it's like they have appreciation for their growth when they come out. And I think it's going to, it benefits everybody coming to these local shows and seeing these young, talented people grow and just continue to become better. And then, like I said, you never know where they're going to be. So it's just important to come out. But I do want to ask a real question.
Where to get the tickets? MissionProWrestling.com.
Yes, absolutely.
It's on June 10th.
Yes. Okay. The real question, and I got another real question. Yes. Are you going to be performing Mi Mejor Escuela at the event?
No, because I am not going to be able to. No, I am, now that I am not wrestling as much, or I'm not wrestling at all in the last 9 months, I've been taking up more of a role of publicizing, doing more of the public appearances, and we accept sponsors too. If you want to sponsor our shows, we have yearly sponsorships, monthly sponsorships, or just like wrestling sponsorships. All is on missionprowrestling@gmail.com. So I'm just promoting more than anything. Unfortunately, that's one of the things. And now with work, I can't attend some of the shows, so I have to make sure that I can go out in the community to really give the voice for this, because it is important. We want to keep running the show, and as you can see, it's very grassroots and it's very community based.
Yeah, so missionprowrestling.com is where they get their tickets, and they're on sale right now.
Yes.
Are they sold out? Are you guys almost sold out? Where are we at?
I think we're almost done with the VIP. We still have some VIP tickets, and general admission we have at availability. And also for those families, if you are from the Rob Elementary, I've told all the families from Uvalde that if you want to come to our show, it's free of charge. We always have that for them.
Yeah.
One of the parents, I'm really good friends with him, with the Uvalde victims, and they love sports. So I'm gonna tell him that he should go. I'll be out there too, because they're really into sports, and that's an amazing service that you offer to them, because we're actually going to have them in the studio soon to tell their story, so we're really excited about that. So hopefully they come out, and I know they're huge fans of sports, so I think they would really love hearing that if they haven't heard it yet. So I'll let them know that it would be great for them to come too. So I'm excited about all this stuff. I'm sad you're not going to be performing or being there, but at least you're here in spirit. Yes, right? And you're here in spirit, helping promote the show, helping people out. And I wanted to ask you, before I wrap this up, what inspired you to, do the song? Because that's the big thing for me. I love the song. I love your voice.
I actually didn't write the song. It was Reina Bosques, who's my vocal coach right now. She comes from a very humble beginnings. She did the voice in Mexico. And we, through Tony Allen, who's my producer, he was like, she has a really, really cool song. So when I first started singing it, I really didn't get it, but she was just telling me, like, you and I come from very similar backgrounds. Like, I really want you to sing it, and really want you to feel and channel all those negative things that are happening to you, and like how, like, because there's a part on the song where it says, y si hablan bonito, estoy agradecida, right? O le soy agradecida, which means if they talk good about me, I'm very blessed. I wish you twice as much of good things for you. But if you say lies about me, I just want to tell you that it doesn't hurt me. Because my mother showed me, how things are. That was the best school, It's my best school. That's what it's called.
That is an amazing message. I can relate to that.
Yes.
You are Latina, real quick, and I'm a Latina too. I know it's hard for minority women to be in the sports world, but you have done an incredible job. I mean, by the optics of it, right? But do you have struggles that you face? Not necessarily getting into things, but do you have...
If I have struggles.
I know you said more money, more problems.
Yes.
But like, what struggles can you say that you face that that people who wouldn't be a Latina have faced?
I think people that have come and grown in a privileged position, they could not relate, or I couldn't relate to them in terms of like some of their issues. I guess, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, when you're the first in your family to attend college, when you're the first of your family to have a good paying job, when you're the first of your family to speak English, that's another thing. And then being considered amongst your family one of the most successful members, and on top of that knowing that you're probably going to have to take care of them financially in the future, it's a big idea to handle, right? And because some of your peers, the only thing that they have to worry about is themselves. And like for me, it's like I have to think about my whole entire tribe and like how many people depend on me, right? And it's like how do I figure how many other jobs do I need in order to make ends meet, not only for me but for everybody else, right? So that's a really big challenge, big challenge, because you don't want your parents to struggle,
right?
You don't want your other family members, to struggle if you can. So it's just like, how do you balance that, and also how do you learn how to adapt and really thrive in that environment that you didn't grow up in, and you have to learn all those skills the older that you get, right? And I think that's the most challenging part.
Do you feel like it's a weight on you?
Of course,
having that? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, because you have to be strong for everybody all the time. Like always. Like if the world is falling, you cannot fall. You cannot cry. You have to keep going. You are on survival mode. And I think when you come from humble beginnings, you're always on survival mode. So now your issues are completely different, but the survival mode hits in, and then you're completely like, you have no feelings. You just go.
You know what? Survival mode is something else, because it hits me too. Like, I go in survival mode, and it somehow ends up working itself out, even though you don't feel like it sometimes.
Yes, but then when you crash, you burn.
Yeah,
you burn
yeah.
really bad.
Meltdowns.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're not nice. So it's like really navigating and figure that out. I remember working with my clients in the community. A lot of them, when they were trying to like do better for themselves, because they had mental health, and they have like a drug addiction. Their families were like gangsters. They were prostitutes and everything. Trying to get out was like, they have this guilty feeling of leaving their family behind to better themselves, and sometimes they never forget themselves. And like in the last couple of years, I cannot tell you how much I can relate to that feeling.
I can relate to it too. Like, I'm about to relate to it. Like, you have no idea. So I get it. Like, you, like, even as a woman, sometimes as a woman, as a mom, as all these things, you're like, am I being a womanly enough? Am I being a mom enough? Yes. I think about that too. So, oh my God, girl.
Yeah.
Girl, you are so relatable.
Yeah, it is tough, but it's again, it's like nothing is impossible. Like, you were asking me off the air, like, did you know you could sing? I knew I could sing, but I know I can tell you something. When you train yourself to do something, and you train yourself right, and you have the right tools and the right support, you will accomplish anything. No matter how old you are, no matter if you have to sacrifice a lot more, if that's your goal, you're going to achieve it. And that's the things that we've been doing little by little. And that's the thing that I've been doing since I remember.
You know what stands out to me the most about you off this interview, because we're about to wrap it up. What stands out to me the most to you is that you have this weight on your shoulder because of supporting your family, and all these other pressures that people who you grew up around with can't really relate to in a sense, but you're supporting them, but you also want to support others in the community that you can't touch. So I feel like you love to take care of others just naturally, and I think that's a great thing about you. So I know it's tough, girl, but I think everybody, I can see why everybody loves you.
I'm always amazed at like the time that she gives to help us out, because I'll call and be like, oh man, she just flew in from Canada or wherever.
No, so that has happened.
Yeah. And then she's got up in the morning to be at a 6 a.m. TV appearance. We're ringing the bell in the cold, and then she leaves that event and goes straight to the airport to catch a plane to wherever she's got to work that night or that next day. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing. So it's really humbling and
no, I mean,
gratifying.
and I told you why I did that. I mean, when something happened in my family, and where one of my family members didn't have a place to go, and the Salvation Army opened their doors, and they made an exception for her to stay there. And she just had a heart attack, and she was like experiencing homelessness. So I'll never forget that. Like, I didn't beg them, but I kind of begged them. And
it worked.
And they were like, we'll make that exception for you. And then she was supposed to stay there for a month, and she was able to stay there for 2 months so she could get herself and her 2 feet. But I'll never forget that. So it's like, that's the least that I can do, because I know that I'm not, it might not look like I'm doing a lot, but I know that I am. But that I'm helping my community. I live in San Antonio. My son goes to Jefferson, and like, it is important that we stay in touch with where we live and what we are investing, right? Because that's the only way that we grow as a community, we grow as a city. And San Antonio is a beautiful place.
Definitely. Thunder Rosa, a true heart of gold. And speaking of the color gold, True Colors is Saturday, June 10th, 2023. It's coming up in a few weeks. It starts at 5 p.m. The bells ring at 6 p.m. You can get your tickets at you can get your tickets at missionprowrestling.com. They're not sold out yet. You got a few more VIP seats and a few, I would call them regular seats.
General
admission. And anything else you want to say about Mission Pro before we wrap it up?
Again, we are excited to bring you more wrestling to San Antonio, and we need your support. If you are and you have extra money that you'd like to invest, well, please make sure you send us an email at missionprowrestling@gmail.com. All these women and men deserve an opportunity, and we want to continue to invest in more things that will help them achieve their dreams as professional wrestlers and professional athletes.
Awesome. And also, if you guys share this live stream and this video, a lucky winner will be getting 2 tickets on behalf of the League of Our Own podcast. So if you guys share the video, make sure you share and let us know that you guys want to go, and a lucky winner will be getting 2 tickets. So thank you guys so much. Melissa Cervantes, aka Thunder Rosa, la mera mera chingona from the Tijuana, Graveyards of Tijuana, and Brad Mayhar from the Salvation Army. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.